What is up, fanatics? It's a new year, but there is no new me because I'm still that same marvelous Josh.
I'm gonna turn you on tonight like you've never been turned on before.
Today, we're following up my best Marvel Legends of 2021 video with The Most Wanted. We are 20 years into Marvel Legends, and you gotta admit, they have cranked out some characters. From the Toy Biz days of cheap finds at KB Toys,
the toy store favored by families for generations,
to the dark age of when Hasbro first took over the line. To the golden age of Hasbro that we're currently living in. We get a few obscure characters every year that really blow my mind. In 2021 alone, we got a Frogman with a Stilt Man BaFs in an Into the Spider-Verse wave. Hell, we got a Silver Warrior with a Mr. Hyde BaFs in a Shang-Chi wave. What in the
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
But believe it or not, there are still characters that we've never seen in the line. On the other end of the spectrum, we've seen more Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Wolverine figures than futures seen by Doctor Strange in Infinity Wars. Seriously, how many of these overmade characters do you think will make it onto my most wanted list? This is my wish list, by the way, and I'll be including my prediction as well. Let's begin with number 10, Yellow Jacket. I know we've gotten a Yellow Jacket from Hasbro before, but let's be honest, it doesn't even work well as a paperweight. It's been beautifully sculpted in the MCU line, but the comic version needs a remake. Even if someone wanted that last piece of shit made, he's expensive on the aftermarket. Well, not because of him, but because everyone wants that dark meat, Blob thigh piece. Your boy's thick. Hell, we need a remake of Blob, and from that same wave, we need a remake of Xorn. But I'm not gonna cheat. Let's just talk about my top 10 right now. But will we get him this year?
No.
Let's move on to number 9, Death's Head. Listen, I know he's obscure, and there are other characters that probably are more important whom are desperately needed, but I have 2 reasons why we need him. First, look at that sweet head design. Sweet! Seriously, it's unique as hell, and I think Hasbro could pull that off because mostly the rest of the bulky body will just be reused parts. Just Frankenstein that bitch together and put the money into the head design and a fully sweet paint job. Secondly, you already gave us Death's Head too. I'm actually a fan of that fig, and now you owe me his counterpart. But will we get him this year?
No!
Number 8, Marrow. Hasbro, you've never given us a Marrow, and I don't think that weird Toy Biz Generation X figure even counts as a Marvel Legend. So what are you waiting for? We can tell you're proud of your new female body molds, and you should be. Double jointed elbows, pinless joints, and more importantly, the ability to actually stand up. These are all making for better female figures. But with only a few exceptions, you haven't exactly knocked it out of the park yet. If you put the same effort you did into Lady Deathstrike last year into a Marrow figure, it would be a gorgeous addition to our mutant shelf. But will we get her this year?
No!
Number 7, Madelyne Pryor. Sticking with the mutants for a moment, let's talk about a character who has really made a much bigger impact in the comics than people seem to want to acknowledge. She also makes a big impact on this list, and if you're wearing your thinking cap, that's called foreshadowing. She's the clone of Jean Grey, created by Mr. Sinister. She's got a ton of history with Cyclops. She's got the Phoenix Force storyline, the multiple alternate universe character designs, and you could definitely reuse 90% of this design and just give us a repaint, some horns, and sell it to me all over again as the Goblin Queen. In one form or another, she's been around for almost 40 years, and now is the time to make her in the Marvel Legends form. But will we get her this year?
No!
Moving on to number 6, Starfox, brother of Thanos, and newly revealed in the Eternals movie as being portrayed by Harry Styles. This is a character that has played a huge role in the comics and is finally coming to the MCU. Why in the world haven't we ever gotten a Starfox figure? Well, maybe it's because he's a walking, talking roofie peel. Comics were different in the 70s and 80s and 90s and most of the 2000s. But look at him. He's a cool design, and he would be cheap to make. You can even throw a repainted modern Namor head on him. I don't care at this point. He's mostly adjusted to the modern times, and Kevin Feige obviously isn't going to make him a full-on creeper. If Harry Styles does well at the box office, then we'll definitely get the MCU form. So, the time has come to give us a comic Starfox. But, will he be made this year?
It is possible.
Please don't cancel me. Next, at number 5, Nightwatch. I know he's more obscure than other characters we still need, but hear me out. He's got a beautiful design. It kind of looks like a Todd McFarlane Spawn ripoff. Whether he is or was just inspiration left over from the Todd McFarlane Marvel days, I don't know. But the design is amazing regardless. While short-lived, he played a cool part in the 90s Spider-Man storyline. Hey, if we're gonna go obscure, go 90s badass balls to the wall obscure. He was the focus of a movie meeting between Sony and Spike Lee just 4 years ago. Now, that never bore fruit, and there is a rumor that Kevin Feige's actually a big fan of the character. So, will we get him this year?
No, 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 no!
Number 4, the Mandarin. This megalomaniac villain was Iron Man's arch enemy. As the Green Goblin is to Spider-Man, the Mandarin is that level of villain to Iron Man. He's been a huge character in the comics. And I've already told you how many Iron Man figs that have been made.
14,605,000.
I don't count the comedic gotcha Trevor Slattery or Shang-Chi's MCU father Wenwu. I'm talking comic Mandarin. So why haven't we gotten him in the Legends form? Since what, the Toy Biz days? Well, probably because of all the yellow peril racism that was used in the early version of the character. You could even see hints of it all the way into the 90s cartoon. But he wasn't a throwaway character, and Marvel Comics has done a great job of altering his tropes. Using sensitivity around this subject, I think that we can get a classic Mandarin, even if that means embracing what they've been doing with the 90s Spider-Man animated series retro card releases. That's fine. Give me green skin or lizard scales. I don't care. Just respectfully, give me a classic Mandarin in some form. It's beyond time. But will we get him this year?
I don't know. Maybe.
At number 3, Sabretooth. I mentioned this beast in my Best of 2021 video because I was really happy with the Age of Apocalypse release. But it is time to get a huge, hulking 90s 616 Victor Creed. We've just recently gotten the announcement of a new Sabretooth, and I'm definitely going to get him as he properly represents the early days of the character as seen in his first appearance in Iron Fist number 14. However, Hasbro, you know damn well that's not the one we want the most. There's a reason I'm still sporting a Marvel Select on my shelf. This is the size we need to grab Wolverine by the throat and look menacingly down at him. Even your 2018 release is tiny compared to the Toy Biz version.
Come on, man. I mean, come on, man.
But will we get him this year? Or, since we're getting the smaller Origins version this year, at least by 2023 sometime?
But we must never give up trying.
Yeah! Look what I have created!
Sometimes you gotta cheat to win.
Wes, you cheated.
Moving on to number 2, SheHulk. We've gotten the gray SheHulk. She wasn't a bad figure at all. And since I knew that Marvel was getting us to buy that one first before giving us the classic version, I was okay with it. I still proudly have her here in my collection. But when Hasbro gave us that same body sculpt for the green version, nope. That's a pointless repaint. That's trying to get money out of us because their previous releases suck asshole.
That's bait.
I'd be happy with a Fantastic Four version, but we really need her in that classic leotard. I want her wearing some cool sneakers too. Give me the bright green paint of that pointless release, but match it with the bright purple and stark white outfit. Make her hulking yet still feminine. With the Disney Plus show soon releasing, and me wanting my graded first appearance comic to explode in value, please just give it to us. But will we get her this year? Yes! And finally, number 1, Cable. I know you've been on pins and needles to see how that Madelyne Pryor hint would play out. Well, here we are. We've gotten some decent Cable releases every few years, and they admittedly aren't horrible. But this reminds me of my feelings with Sabretooth. Hasbro knows damn well what we want, and they've given us everything but on purpose. It's time. Give us a tall, bulky, blue and gold outfit overlaid with some brown Liefeld pouches. I want a detailed silver arm like we got with AOL Colossus. I want an eye effect, at least as cool as what you gave us with X-Man. There are plenty of parts you can reuse from other figures, but don't give us a cheap repaint from the past Cables. He's too important. He deserves to be done better. Cable is easily one of my favorite characters ever, if not number 1. So I admit, I'm being a bit impartial here, but he is yet to ever be done justice, and I think Hasbro knows this. So this is an easy one. Will we get him this year?
No, God! No, God!
We've already made it through my top 10 most wanted single releases, but I've got so much more. I still have a lot of figures I want to talk about that need to be made. I've got army builders, full waves, box sets, deluxe releases, Build-A-Figures, and HasLab Wishlist, and I need to tell you about them. Ugh. But if you've enjoyed this, and I know you did, click the like button. But that's not all. Hit subscribe and Hulk smash that bell to receive notifications, because I'm going to follow this video up with my most wanted Marvel Legends continued. I'm going to add on all those box sets and all the other stuff I want to talk about. If you haven't seen our best of 2021 video yet, it's our most watched video yet, so
You like me right now. You like me.
I'll link that in the video right here. Later, fanatics.